Let me have some water first. Ah, this water is so good. You know why? Well, this is not alkaline water or sparkling water. It is not even from the springs in Himalayas. It is just a normal tap water. It is not special because this water is from somewhere, but it is from this metal bottle. This bottle makes it so special. You know why? Because even today, since I came here, I have reduced my consumption of plastic water bottles by at least 5 bottles. Just before coming on the stage, I would have consumed at least one bottle of water because we feel nervous when we enter the stage, right? A responsible consumption is something that all of us need to focus on. Now, if we do math, let's understand. Often, what happens in the programs like this, we take a bottle, we drink it half, and then it goes in a trash can. So, half of the water goes for waste. And often we find a lot of plastic bottles littered across different functions, forests, forts, without realizing the significance and importance of Mother Nature. Let's do math. Next slide, please. Let's assume that people like us travel a lot, attend various programs. So assume that we go to programs for 100 days and we consume 10 bottles per program. And we travel a lot, right? So for 50 days in a year, we travel where we consume at least 5 bottles. And let's assume that 3 or 4 people join us every time for such programs. Now, if you do a math, it would cost you around 60,000 rupees per person, which is way higher when it comes to the damage of the environment. Now, even if you buy such premium bottles, 4, 5, 6, with different colors, different size, shapes, different brands, still you'd be able to save a considerable amount, which you can spend for yourself. Maybe you can enroll for a course and develop a new skill using that amount. Maybe you can go on a family trip, a short one though, right? Or maybe you can sponsor TEDx events so that people can enjoy the event. If you do a math, it is very important aspect for us to understand what we are consuming and how it is causing the damage to the environment. This brings us to the very important aspect, that is sustainable development goals defined by United Nations. And one of the SDGs, which is SDG 12, responsible consumption and production. Of course, as a common man, the production part might not be in our control because it has a lot to do with maybe market needs, industry, government policies, and it's not in our control. But the later part, 101%, it is in our control, which is responsible consumption. Just being cautious and conscious while consuming anything and everything throughout our lifespan is our social responsibility, our responsibility towards Mother Nature. So there are 17 sustainable development goals pertaining to the well-being of people as well as planet. Some of them which are related to planet are SDG 6, which is clean water and sanitation, SDG 7, affordable and clean energy, SDG 11, which is sustainable cities and communities, SDG 12, which we discussed, which is responsible consumption and production. Apart from that, SDG 13, which is very favorite for a lot of social workers, is climate action. Apart from that, often remaining two SDGs are not discussed in most of the conferences and events and programs, which are SDG 14, life below water, and SDG 15, which is life on the land. If you don't know what these terms are, because most of the times people don't understand what is ESG, what is carbon footprint, what is climate action. So to simplify it for you, let me tell you, ESG stands for environment, social, and governance. These are three pillars while running an organization. And these are some responsibilities that every organization needs to take care while running their business. Apart from that, carbon footprint is often we listen. It simply means whatever carbon emission we cause directly or indirectly while doing something, while eating something, while going somewhere, while having something, directly or indirectly, that part is nothing but carbon footprint. As a human being, we always try to leave our mark on this planet through our actions. But this one is inevitable. Without even our realization, we leave carbon footprint on this planet. However, it could be reduced. Let me tell you how. I'll start with the first point. That is, I have seen a lot of people, they do social work or such kind of activities just to put some tag before their name or after their name. XYZ environmentalist, socialist. These kind of tags are fascinating. I mean, these people are fascinated by these kind of tags. Well, nothing wrong with it. It starts with that only. However, my suggestion is don't get stuck with these kind of titles itself, because the actual impactful social work starts beyond that. If you understand that, then you will be impactful individual for sure. Now, let's discuss another aspect that we should not do. There is a term called fire and forget. It is a term used in army. When the opponent starts ammunition, you also retaliate with equal amount of ammunition. And that hitting is not to kill the enemy. That is just a response to their attack on you. We simply fire and forget. Now, during monsoon, we have seen a lot of groups going to different forests, different hills, and doing a lot of plantation activities. But unfortunately, very few of them are going beyond and taking care of the nurturing part of those trees they are planting during the monsoon. It's not just about planting trees, but it is also about taking care of them so that at least for 3 years you take care of them and they will be on their own. It is just like a kid, our own baby. If we treat trees like our babies, they will flourish for sure. Because the entire universe runs on the exchange of energies. And love is the strongest form of that energy that we can transfer to plants, people, and planet through our actions. Now let's talk about what we could do. There are three terms which I am trying in my lifetime. First one is being water neutral. Second is oxygen neutral. And third is carbon neutral. Simply by ensuring that whatever amount of water, oxygen, and we are consuming in our lifetime, or carbon that we are emitting through our actions throughout lifetime, how can we compensate that before we leave this planet? Some sense of responsibility towards our Mother Earth, right? Now, the first part, water neutral. On an average, we consume almost 5 million liters of water throughout our lifespan, assuming that we live for 75 years. Indirectly, we use almost 30 to 40 million liters of water throughout our lifetime. Now, direct is the water that we drink, the water that we use for bath, but indirect usage is something that, let's say you are using a phone. In the process of manufacturing that phone, some water would be utilized. So that is again that one for you. That one was for you. So directly plus indirectly put together, it is around 35 million liters of water an individual consumes in the entire lifespan if that person survives for, let's say, 75 years. In 2018, next slide, I got to know about Pani Foundation. It is one of the most impactful organizations when it comes to watershed projects, at least in Maharashtra, a state in India, right? Now, 1st May is my wife's birthday. Coincidentally, on the same day, they used to organize Mahashramdan, a mass volunteering campaign where people used to come from different walks of life, different locations, and they used to go to different villages to dig CCTs, that is trenches, as a watershed structures, right? So we got fascinated by the appeal from the Pani Foundation, and we decided ki birthday ke din khadde, means digging pits, digging trenches on the occasion of birthday and making it completely different with a sense of responsibility. First, I asked my wife. I was hesitating, but she generously accepted that proposal, like my marriage proposal. And then she said that definitely we can do that as our social responsibility. We went to one of the villages. We celebrated her birthday by digging those trenches, and then it became a habit. Then we took support from different corporates. I was heading CSR for one of the organizations. So my company, few other companies, we started going to couple of villages, and then it became a ritual for us. During April, May, and June, you would find us in those villages, digging those trenches day in and day out. Even at 2 a.m. in night, we were digging trenches. Apart from that, we started helping that village in different ways as well, like fundraising activities, getting sponsors, getting JCB machines to dig those big CCTs, making those farm ponds. And within the span of almost 2 months, we did wonder in that village by creating a capacity worth 75 to 90 million liters of water storage through our individual intervention. Within 2 days, I raised almost 2 lakhs of rupees simply by sending a WhatsApp text to my friends, because that one of the villages, Udachivadi, was in desperate need of funds, because if we use machines, the work would be faster. And it was also one of the criteria of Pani Foundation, so that you must use machines for some of the structures. And they were struggling there. So, as our responsibility, just a simple WhatsApp text helped us raise almost 2 lakh rupees, which is equivalent to running a JCB machine for almost 140 hours. One JCB machine digs 5 CCTs, 5 deep CCTs within an hour with a capacity of holding 1 lakh liters of water. If you simply do that math, we ensured almost 75 to 90 million liters of water for that village just within 2 days of that social responsibility. Now, the next term is oxygen neutral. Let's assume you live for 75 years. You'd be consuming around 15 to 16 million liters of oxygen directly, and indirectly you'll be consuming around 20 to 25 liters of oxygen, million liters of oxygen. So total put together, almost 35 to 40 millions liters of oxygen one person would be consuming throughout their life. Now, you will not emit oxygen for compensating it, but you can appoint somebody who can emit oxygen 24/7. That is nothing but trees, our green friends. And not every tree emits oxygen 24/7. There are few species which emit 24/7 oxygen. Just find them. And these are our native species like people, neem, banyan trees, even tulsi, right? And how much trees it takes to become oxygen neutral? Hardly 20 trees. The toughest part is you need to ensure that they will survive throughout their lifetime. Nobody will come and cut them in the process of development. Nobody will just ignore them like fire and forget approach we discussed. Somebody who will take care of them just like our own kid, at least in the beginning, and eventually they will flourish. Just by planting around 20 to 25 trees, we could become oxygen neutral. Is it a big ask? Definitely not. Right? And third part, which is we also worked on various projects like Miyawaki is one of the concept. It is a simulation of rainforest. So we created a Miyawaki forest with almost 1200 saplings in that village. Now it has become a full-fledged forest. Also, if you come to my house, you will see a lot of saplings on our terrace. Almost 500 saplings we have homegrown. It is a kind of simulation of Miyawaki on our terrace. Apart from that, a lot of plantation drives we have contributed to. I have planted at least 5,000 trees in my lifetime. And I can say that I am oxygen neutral too, or on the verge of becoming oxygen neutral. Next slide. Now, simple hacks to become oxygen neutral. Number one, give it a personal touch. One of my mentors, Mr. Nana Patekar, who is also founder of NAM Foundation, which works extensively in watershed projects in India, on his birthday, we took a sapling and we asked him to water that plant as a gesture of exchange of positivity and good energy towards that plant. And then we planted that sapling at Startup Wadi, our skill center we are starting near Pune. Now, every time we go to that skill center, that tree reminds us of Nana sir. As there is personal touch, we can take care of that sapling just like we take care of him. So give a personal touch, maybe our near and dear ones. You can plant trees on their behalf, right? That is possible, that is practical. Second aspect, celebrate your special occasions. Every time we crack some project, every time we conduct some offsite activity, we at least plant one tree. Apart from that, we need to create a green zone as well. Let's say you live in a house which is of 1,000 square feet. At least ensure 10 square feet as a greenhouse, a green zone for your house, so that it will be a green zone or other oxygen zone for you. Next slide. And the third part, carbon neutral. Let me tell you, becoming 100% carbon neutral is impossible. However, reducing our carbon footprint is 101% possible. Simply by being cautious and conscious consumer helps us become carbon neutral. CO2, it's a new definition. Conscious observation for optimization of our things. And see, 100% carbon emission is possible, but for that you need to attain moksha. This is again next to impossible, at least in this lifespan, right? And very important aspect, like one of the speakers also mentioned, that we need to pass on the baton to our next generations to come as our responsibility, so that they can help the world become much more greener than us. And last but not the least, think big. You can use AI, you can use IoT, you can use robotics, you can use a lot of technologies. But before that, you need to have thought process of a transformation while working on social initiatives and these kind of projects. Start with that kind of thing. Think big and then act small. At least what you can do from today to make this event epochal is start using these bottles and reduce your consumption of plastic bottles. Because see, through our actions, either we could become a curse to our Mother Earth by becoming a cancer, or we can become a cure through our actions. The choice is yours. Thank you so much.